Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to another episode of Suara Kita Ni. My name is Muhammad Fadli and
I'm Emma Japar.
so we'll have here today our friends from Copper Hope.
Hey! I'm so excited to have them here today actually.
How are you, Emma?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
How-
How's you?
How are
How's
you guys?
everyone?
Feeling great. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. What about you, Mizi? Sorry, we have like four microphones.
I'm great.
Great. Okay. So what we have we've had like a long day today. No, I think prior to that we just had our recording in the morning and then now this afternoon for Copper Hope. How do you feel, Emma?
I mean, it's been a productive week, alhamdulillah. But I'm hoping for a break actually.
Yeah, I think we've been having a lot of recordings recently, and
Yeah.
I was missing during the last recording.
Yeah, you weren't here last week.
Yeah, my big
Missed
sister's
lots.
wedding bersanding was the weekend before, so alhamdulillah that went well. I think, but we had like our a friend of mine as well from Geek Turf, so that's another episode that will probably be coming out.
You guys need to stay
in
tuned for
between.
that one.
Yeah. So I think coming straight into our audience, our speakers. So we got friends from Cope for Hope. So that's Cope for Hope without space. Maybe you can just start ahead and then we'll see. How we
Let
can-
them introduce themselves.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, my name is Hazira. I'm the executive director of Cope for Hope.
I'm Surah. I'm the external director for Code for Hope.
Hi, I'm Mizi, the internal director for Code for Hope.
Yay! So we got the directors. We have Cope for Hope.
I think we want to start with the story behind the Code for Hope, how it started and why it started.
we were talking to them earlier, just behind the scenes, right? So Zira, you're a bit late. Sorry. timely fashion. I just got the chance to also like read up a bit more on your bio. I think we got Zura here, and then Mizi, who's a teacher. Zura with your sweet tooth as well. Can tell us more about that. But yeah, I'd love to just give you guys the microphone. Talk about yourself, and then we'll just have this conversation between us. And we'll see how that goes.
So I'll just talk about how Cope for Hope, the idea, was born. So that was in my third year of university. We have this program where you go on to a different state or a different city and you explore a social justice issue. So at the time I went to San Francisco to explore mental health issues in San Francisco, and I met with a lot of nonprofits, and from them it inspired me to make my own in Brunei, because when I came back I saw that there was
none in here in Brunei. Yeah.
there was like such a huge gap, especially with mental health resources. And as for us, we were strangers before Code for Hope. We didn't know each other, so we reached out to several Instagram pages like You Can Lead Dabian and Brunei Volunteers, and that's kind of how I met them.
Cool. So from strangers to friends on a mutual mission for promoting
I think it's
cause.
the same case with Suara Kita Ni as well, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Actually, all of us from Suara Kita Ni, well, at least most of us, we only started at Suara Kita Ni, I think, for the love of podcasting, really. I mean, Suara Kita Ni for providing voices for Bruneian related issues, concerns, interests, and making friends with our friends from Code for Hope as well. Yeah, I actually got a bit of stories out of both of you. I think I was also surprised that you guys didn't know each other prior. Tell us more about your background and how you came to meeting each other. Maybe from a coffee shop to here at Ikigai Lounge.
Well, I would say we started meeting up. Our first meeting was in early August, and then we decided to get that Instagram page going, and then 2 weeks later it kind of blew up a little bit, and we started getting a lot of attraction from the public and a lot of great support. So after that we continuously met almost every single day this week, actually. So it was a lot of overwhelming, but it was like a good type of overwhelming, and so
I mean, tell us more about how your trip came to be, so your background as well.
Okay, so
And then I think we'll have Zura and Mizi share a bit of that as well. The people behind Cope for Hope.
Okay. So my background, I'm actually currently still a student at UCLA, which is the University of California in Los Angeles. I'm a third year and I take political science and international relations. So I'm more interested in more of the advocacy portion of mental health. So that's working with government bodies to, I guess, get more resources. And I think that's what's really great about Code for Hope is we have so many different backgrounds. It's not just like all psychology based and all science based backgrounds.
Nice. Thanks, Azira. What about you, Azira?
All right. So, in terms of sort of like mental health advocacy and why I wanted to join Cope for Hope, okay, let's just get like a bit deep and personal here. So, I was officially diagnosed with anxiety at the age of 16, but I knew sort of something was wrong, like with how I was thinking, probably like the age of 13. So like, I just have this memory where I was sort of like overthinking about a lot of things back then, and I was thinking, what's going on, and like, who can I go to ask for help? And back then, like, awareness was like close to none. Like maybe there was a psychiatry department, but then at that time there was sort of like a stigma behind the psychiatry department and what they do. So based on that, I read a bit more online and then about mental health, and then I started developing sort of a passion for psychology. So until I took psychology and language sciences in UCL, University College London. And here I am now, I guess, still fighting for mental health awareness and trying to destigmatize mental health. Yeah.
We have Mizi. Sorry. We have Mizi. What about Mizi? Yeah.
Okay, all right. So again, my name is Mizi Rahman. I am a local graduate, majored in sociology and anthropology. Currently, I'm working as a primary school teacher. But before that, I work at a JAPEM, which is Community Development Department. So from there, my interests dalam mental health advocate ini, dari sana timbulnya perasaan kan meningkatkan awareness on mental health. Because working in JAPEM as a social worker, which is also the frontliner, you get to interact a lot of people from different backgrounds. For example, in my case, I was already apprentice that time. So under bahagian keluarga, wanita dan kanak-kanak. So of course, my cases tend to be involved around these three things: wanita, keluarga dan kanak-kanak. So from there, macam I do visits, cases, and then what I found was it's not just pasal soal socio-economic dorang yang boleh membuatkan detrimental mental health ni, but also macam their mindset to some degree. So that's why my interest in mental health ni, in trying to raise the awareness through Cope for Hope lah. So really passionate about it. So, yeah.
Nice. That's pretty deep stories coming from yourself, Mizi. Coming from what came from a social worker situation to being part of an advocacy group. I mean, yourself, Surah, with your own personal experience.
Yeah. I think I can relate to Zura mostly, actually, because I had a personal experience as well, and that's why I'm interested actually in mental health issues. Because when I was young, and I was approached by someone who's very dear to me, she was on the verge of suicide. And I didn't know what to do at the time, so I went to Google to actually find the answer to how to approach them. So that's why I'm so glad to have you guys here today, so you can actually acknowledge the public as well and spread. Hopefully the public knows that you're there and you're spreading the awareness as well. Yeah.
I think Emma, yourself, you also run your own podcast.
Yeah.
Centered around mental health.
Mental health. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe just to give a bit more context for everyone, how mental health is important here for Brunei. Maybe for those audiences out there.
Oh, let's ask our speakers actually.
Let's do that. Yeah, the three of you.
So let me just repeat the question. So you said why mental health is important, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's pretty basic, right? Like, so everyone knows about physical health. Everyone has like monthly checkups at the clinic. Whenever you're just like feeling a bit sick, you're like, oh no, I'm getting sick. I better go to the doctor, see something about this. Pretty basic stuff. But then, just as everybody has physical health, everybody has mental health as well, right? Because, well, hopefully everyone has a brain, right? But then, whenever you sort of have struggles with your mental health, and this doesn't have to be full on, like, it doesn't have to be full on sort of like depression or anxiety, even like the small things like stress, for example. Everyone experiences stress, right? So how come whenever somebody starts to feel overwhelmed with stress, nobody ever thinks, oh, I should do something about this, I should see someone about this? They sort of just like have to keep it in and just deal with it when it shouldn't be
struggle
that way.
silently.
Yeah, so I think mental health is important because it is a part of you, you have to take care of your mental health as much as you care about your physical health.
Let's go in a bit more experiential here. I mean, I think a lot of people think growing up, getting to know what mental health is, there's a lot of resources on the internet. You get palpitations, you suddenly can't think properly, among other symptoms. And I think there's also this confusion about where, maybe not so much of confusion, but there are those which are clinically diagnosed and those that actually do happen day to day. It's just about managing that. I think your situations were more personal. Maybe you could share us how that journey has been on those short for a few years to how you're dealing with it now. I think I can also kind of empathize with that, but I think I'll share that maybe later on. Maybe if you could share your own.
So my story with like sort of how
like
the anxiety.
Yeah, you started saying like, I
okay.
turned 13, and then it was something that felt so foreign, and you didn't really know who to reach out to. That must have been like scary, like not.
Yeah, because I was really, really young, and because at first I just thought macam kalau unya orang Brunei macam selalu buri or like sanang menangis, anak ini sensitive, like that. So at first I thought it was just that maybe I'm just like problematic or sensitive. But then I just somehow just couldn't stop thinking about smaller things. So for example, macam let's say I said something to a friend and it would be something really small, but then the friend talks back to me like oh, okay, sure, like that, and I would really misinterpret their like whole like, okay, she said that to me in a really different tone, does that mean she hate me? Oh my gosh, she probably does. And I'll just start like overthinking way over the edge for like days on end, like that. And it got to the point that, because I think everybody overthinks once in a while, but then I think it was during my O-level days, I realized that my overthinking and sort of just like constant worrying about not just like grades but friends and family, it sort of like affected my schoolwork. So I think what people really get confused between sort of mental health and mental health condition is one of the criteria for being diagnosed is when it affects your day-to-day function. So yeah, anything from schoolwork or just like basic necessities like hygiene. So I think for people, it's sort of when that hits the spot when it's like, okay, this is affecting a certain part of my life, and that's when I need to ask help.
Do you recall when that happened, when it just clicked that you needed to do something about it?
Because I've tried numerous times actually, but then again, like, because I was 15 that time, I didn't really have the means to do so, especially with like transport, and then you have to have parents' consent as well. So actually mine was it was a very like sort of scary experience because I tried numerous times to ask for help, but then again the resources weren't available at that time. So it got sort of so overwhelming. I got I used self-harm that time to sort of cope, and that time My parents saw my scars and everything. They were really supportive, so that's when they wanted to bring me to a psychiatrist just to get professional help.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's one of the best decisions of my life.
Thinking about it, you're talking about your story, you're talking about your own challenges, personal challenges, not knowing where to go, or at least finding the resources to have the means to do so. Suddenly, we're here today with Cope for Hope. That's probably the answer why Cope for Hope exists. Maybe, Mizi, or yeah?
So, I guess I'll follow up on what Surya said as well. When I was in high school, so I kind of always knew that I had symptoms of it, but I think when you're kind of ingrained to say that you're lazy or you're not religious enough, that's something that stops you from seeking help. And that was kind of my case. I kind of coped with it by like doing academically well and like pushing myself to the boundaries to kind of prove people wrong that I was not lazy. But I think it was only when I got to university and kind of understood more of what mental health really is, I sought out for help and realized I basically fulfilled all the criteria for depression and anxiety and eating disorders.
That must have been really super helpful, the fact that you were maybe being in an environment in a country where it's more matured in that environment.
Yeah. I think that is something I'm really grateful for, to be able to go outside of Brunei. And I know not a lot of people have that privilege to go outside to seek resources. And I think that's something we're definitely working on, is to be able to bring that same quality health resource to Brunei.
Yeah.
Emma, go for it.
Sorry, what?
I think these are wonderful, challenging stories that really mold one's mission. I think that materializing into Cope for Hope, I think more to me personally is quite inspiring to like turn your own insecurities into something of how people can learn. I think my own experiences and being in the UK, I think I was very thankful that Essex University had extenuating circumstances that allowed people to understand where you're coming from and kind of mental health support. But I kind of echo with what you're saying, Azira. Like, I think more so coming to university, apalagi takraja, being an adult, it's more important to be more aware what mental health is, how it looks like, and how to encounter that. I was just like you guys coming in, and then I was just scrolling through your Instagram. I as simple as just having these infographics, these resources, just like pinpoint. Oh my God, like I totally feel that way as well. But and I just feel like I could just DM you guys and just like ask about things that I wasn't so sure. I think it's even more scarier coming from an environment where it's more stigmatized, like ka psychiatry, orang gila kalito and all that. I mean, secara kasarnya, it's the truth. But I think in my own circles, I think in the recent few months, it's been more acceptable, alhamdulillah, in my own family as well. My own father has been more open to, like, it's just as simple as, it's like going to the clinic to get an MC. Like, I get my low Panadol. I also meet my own personal psychiatry person or counselor it's as a similar checkup as well. So it's nice to see this being normalized in such a way where I feel more comfortable to do that because of people like you. Like, what do you think, Emma? You're just lost at words. I mean these stories are also probably one of many coming from Brunei. If Mizi, if you'd like to add anything to that.
Okay. In my case, I'm 100% locally grown in Brunei, and that means I also did my study in Brunei as well. So there is my moment of my lowest point in life, which is after A-levels. Kan usually in Brunei, A-levels ni, the Brunei dream is to go study abroad, to study in UK. And then jadi kebanggaan ibu bapa. Oh, anakku belajar di UK apa? Okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. So it was after A-levels and my grades are really, really bad lah. And I think I was stagnant for a whole year, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. Macam nada matlamat hidup, nada direction. It was really lowest point of my life
Must
lah.
have been like really
And
hard.
a lot of my friends juga the support system yang kononnya ada masa year A level tu, they went away sudah to continue with their own life, of course. So I feel like really alone, macam ada orang to depend on, and it's just my life that I need to go through apa. So thankfully ada some of my friends yang stayed behind lah and did their studies locally, so I reach out to them apa. And also unlike them, I didn't know any available resources macam psychological resources to go to apa. If I shared my feelings pun ara ibu bapa, their way of solving things is kadang-kadang macam sembayang, bawa sembayang apa, macam dugaan, along that lines lah. So from there, yes, I did try religion as one of my coping mechanism, but that's not the only thing. There are also ways that I reach out to my friends juga, and also I keep a mindset yang regardless of what happens, I must not give up apa, macam jangan terbantut sejak lepas A level apa. So I changed my mindset into making sure that I move on regardless. So I just applied uni lah, time itu uni, and then thankfully I got accepted at a local uni UBD. But before that, masa, as I said, I was stagnant for a good whole year tu. At the same time, I also tried to find jobs to occupy myself lah, because kalau di rumah saja terkurung apa, it can really have a negative mental health impact lah, especially when you're alone. So I tried to find jobs, and during cuti 1 tahun itu, I also managed to get a job at Istana apa for HM's birthday during that time. But unfortunately, ada bad incident lah at that time during my working time itu. I actually got bullied. I mean, at that time I was also vulnerable because my self-esteem turun sudah, and then during work time itu kena bully lagi apa. Because let's face it, I stick out among the average Bruneians because of my skin. So people macam made fun of me pasal kulit putih apa. And yes, there are such people. They will find a lot of things that is wrong or different with you. So yeah, thankfully macam I've gone through that. Habis sudah kerja apa, and I continued on with my uni life lah. And since then macam alhamdulillah slowly macam life
More
slowly,
bearable lah.
yeah, getting back together apa, macam momentum hidup tu macam okay, sambung belajar saja, just do this for now, focus on this, tak payah fikirkan yang lain, just belajar and try to build skills along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well done,
macam itulah.
Mizi.
So, yeah.
Hey.
Thank you.
So kalau bagi kan that I can take from that, especially that point on bullying as well. That's probably something that we want to come into as a topic for mental health. But I think the other one that is also part of breaking stigma is ini pulang salah yang what our parents dengan doa apa. But all of this, what we're doing here today, is part of our own effort, our own ikhtiar juga. It's not just one thing kan, tapi how we just deal with it holistically. Ada je berubat, ada je dengan nani, ada je dengan doanya lah. You seem like you want to say something.
Oh no. Just agree.
That's good. I mean even my own personal journey ani pun memahankan barang ani may not be as easy pasal lain-lain orang pun lain-lain pengalaman je kan, Emma.
I think we gone too deep into the discussion.
Actually, let's go on a lighter note. Tapi I acknowledge and also appreciate the stories you've shared. I think pun it's not something you just openly share, but it's something we do appreciate and respect, especially how you've come to today. So congratulations on that. On a lighter note, you guys have mentioned you've become accidental friends. Macam aku sama Emma dyan eh. You guys kind of have hang out every day. I understand you're from UCLA. You might have a hard time coming back with COVID and all that. So tell us what you guys been up to. Like, have you guys been trying out different coffee, cafe up, planning your different programs, just like on the side. Like, how's your friendship dynamic, meeting each other from
Well, we definitely learn a lot more about each other meeting up from every day and coffee shops. I only knew like Starbucks, Breebie, but now I know another cafe.
Welcome back to Brunei.
All these new places. It was great. But yeah.
I know Zura you've put on your profile that you're a sweet tooth. Maybe you could also enlighten us on the different desserts that you've come into.
Because I just came back from the UK this year.
Yeah. You just graduated as well. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. So, honestly, this year has been one of the best years to be a sweet tooth in Brunei because right after COVID, everyone is baking. So suddenly, like all these baking accounts are popping up on IG. Yeah. So it's like
you don't bake
all
yourself
the cream
as
cheese
well.
are gone.
All
the cream
I
cheese are gone.
attempt to, but then,
It's alright. I mean, they're the bakers and that's the consumer. We're the consumers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's supporting local is pretty good as well. With all the baking thing.
Okay. Well, coming back, you mentioned you've tried different cafes. Any favorites on your own as well?
Well, I'm more of a tea person, so I really like matcha mana. I love matcha, so
yeah. I like coming down to matcha mana, especially over the weekends on Sundays, especially when their parkings aren't too. You don't have to have the all pass and all late night. Iced matcha tarik. So good.
great.
So good. Are you a matcha person as well? Like just generally?
Yes. It's probably my favorite type of drink.
Nice. They say matcha is serene and slimming.
They're right, so.
What about you? You mentioned to us earlier, Muzi, Chigu Muzi, that you've also teach night classes. I mean, like, where's the time for you to do this? Like, what would you do for fun?
It's once a week kind of thing. And right now it's a school holiday, so I have my break. But once the school start, adalah tu once a week. I teach for like just 2 hours at most of these underprivileged kids ara Maktab Duli to prepare them for their PSR exam lah. And you mean for my own personal time? Well, I like to spend time with my families, with my niece and nephews, especially. Yes, anak buah baby fruits. And yeah, kadang-kadang bawa dorang jalan-jalan apa, I understand life can be stressful at times. So just bawa them jalan-jalan, but at the same time macam being the adult, the uncle, I look after them jo apa lah. And yeah, besides that, I play video games.
PS5's coming out soon.
Yes.
So I'm assuming you guys meet for something. There must be something going on for Cup of Hope, I'm assuming. So the meeting. So what are you guys busy with right now?
So Mental Health Day is coming up, October 10th.
10th, yeah.
Yes. So we are planning something because we're actually not established under Brunei society.
On the way.
On the way, coming soon. So we want to do something more giving back to the community.
Meaningful, I suppose. Yeah.
We're creating mental health kits for sale.
I want one.
So does that come with matcha and chocolates?
It can. It will now. So, yeah. And then we're also focusing on another part of taking care of the mental health of foreign workers in Brunei and immigrants. Very important community, so we are also giving back to them.
I have so much questions.
Oh.
Yeah. About first 2 questions will be coming up. Maybe if I could divulge more, what would a mental health kit look like? And 2, how do you interact with foreign workers, especially with the language barrier?
Do you want to do that?
Okay.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I'm like organizing the mental health kit right now. So
Nice.
that's why. Okay, so not gonna lie, go to Pinterest. Go to Pinterest. Look for mental health kit. But other than that, so it's for this mental health kit, we want to focus on something that's like relaxing, calming, and this generally brings a smile to your face, you know? Because for this mental health kit, you can either sort of deliver it to someone and sort of like, okay, I care about this person, let's give it to them, or you can even buy it for yourself, right? So sort of for now we're planning like the general sort of like candles, you know, very calming things like any soap that contains like lavender because it has a calming effect as well, and then of course like baked goods because who doesn't love that? I do. So and then we're also planning sort of like cards where it contains like reassuring statements that you matter.
So it's basically like a self-care kit.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a pamper kit.
Exactly.
Does it come with a voucher to
Oh, retail therapy.
Honestly, that's a good idea. I'm noting that down now. That's a good idea.
retail therapy coming in different forms of coupons?
Yeah, and also I think an important thing to highlight is, I mean, for now we're trying to get in touch with sort of local businesses and local crafts. So all these like candles and tea bags that we're hoping to put in our kits, we're hoping that it's coming from local
Brunei
businesses.
based.
You know,
Oh,
just
that's
to
nice.
support them as well.
Nice. That's. I mean, those are just like two projects. I think that's pretty innovative. Pretty something you don't kind of
It's
hear
gonna blow
every
up.
day. Yeah,
It's gonna-
it could blow up as something as something really meaningful, as you put it. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get like multilingual resources.
Mm.
So in case like how do expats in the country get mental health resources as well. So yeah.
Even our own Malay speaking society here as well. That there's a sort of a niche group and I think a lack of access to that as well. So be interesting to hear how you guys are moving in that direction. I mean, you've had that experience with that particular agency, right? And interacting with the frontliners and all that.
Yes. So what was the question again?
Well, it wasn't a question, just more of like how you've had that experience on that end as well. Yeah.
Okay. So dealing with people yang yang biasa bercakap bahasa Melayu, of course usually my strategy is usually macam be relatable, cakap bahasa Brunei apa, also be clear lah apa yang akan diterangkan itu. Macam jangan jua, I know bahasa Brunei kadang-kadang sounds kasar kadang-kadang. Okay, macam tu. Macam saying
Okay.
are you okay pun macam kasar bunyinya. So macam okay, lambat-lambat lah bahasa Brunei, style Brunei. Bis kita okay lah. Kita mau bantuan ke apa, macam lemah lembut lah, pandai-pandai lembutkan suara tu. So these things macam it's a practice that takes time lang, to be honest. But kalau macam sudah biasa menghadapi diri dengan orang-orang yang catu, insyaAllah okay lah, boleh lah.
Okay, cool. I think that's it's one on providing access, one on providing relatability, and I guess providing general resources on how people can interact with you. I think we've seen a number of very public incidents with mental health, whether or not that might be good, might be bad. In the recent years, we've also seen how our own government, very thankful that they've been pushing on mental health, the mental health movement as well. And I think probably sometime since last year, probably the year before that, we've seen a popping up of different mental health groups as well. And it's interesting to see how this would create much more collaborative ecosystem juga. I think ever so recently, if you're familiar with the suicide attempt recently on the bridge, if you're aware of the incident, it's quite interesting to see the reactions. It's one of the more fresher news that we've seen on how people are still perceiving it as negative, macam kegilaan dito orang itu. We were just talking about stigma. Like, what did you guys think of the incident and the whole reactions, discussions? Has it been supportive? Has it been positive on your end, or have more mental health groups kind of put themselves out, or are people still so adamant against this?
So I think when it comes to social media in Brunei, there's a few different platforms that have few different communities and mindsets.
I like how you phrased that entirely.
So on our end, it has been pretty supportive. A lot of people support the statement that we released, going against the public reaction at the time of the event. But I know some other platforms may have disagreed. So I think that's what we were targeting, is to basically not really call them out, but to just not condone those type of behaviors. I think when the incident happened, we were up like 8 a.m. and we got to talking the entire day, basically like how can we address this? Like, we need to do something, and that's when we released the statement. And I think it's also just interesting that I think there was a similar incident to this a few years ago, 6-7 years ago, and it's really disappointing that the reaction was the exact same. And I know there's been efforts, but it's clear that there needs to be more efforts. Yeah.
You wanted to say something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Okay. Would you like to add on to that?
No, because I was just agreeing about the whole, because I've watched both videos from the recent one and the one 7 years ago, and I think apart from it's painful seeing like an attempt, it's also equally painful hearing comments from people in the background in that video, and it's just, it's really heartbreaking, and that's what we're working towards, just create that awareness.
Okay, you've mentioned that you've talked about this like a lot, especially that day. Why do you think putting out a public statement is important, and why was that the first step that you needed to do in calling them out? I think the rationale behind this question is that we haven't built a culture of being accountable, of calling out. So I wanted you to kind of show us why is that important, especially in the work you do.
Well, I feel like if we didn't keep them accountable, it would just keep going and going. And even though there was a certain platform that we were basically calling out, even on that platform, a lot of people were disagreeing with the comments that were put, which is really great. So seeing that change in people finally agreeing with our statement, we got a lot of reposts and reshares, and that's kind of how we blew up. But it's nice to see that people are also like condemning those acts as well. So I think keeping the public accountable, and since Brunei is pretty big on reputation, and maybe it can change their mindset a little bit.
Yeah, pretty interesting time we live in now. We're having more public conversations on these. Apalagi to promote a healthy debate on things that people may not necessarily agree with. Mental health being such a new, not new, but I think a topic that's still in the process of trying to fully ingrain that within the public's mindset, that it is okay to be not okay. Not referring to any Netflix series. Yeah. Yeah. Emma, do you wanna say anything?
I think I just want to ask more on the challenges that you guys have faced throughout this, putting out statements and everything, all the resources that you put out. Is there any challenges in doing all that?
I would say we have logistical challenges in terms of because we want to do so many things. We are a little bit struggling with what is the first thing we should do. So far we've done infographics and that's worked, but there needs to be more, and we're planning to do more, but it's just how do we get from point A to point B. And also because of the attempt, a lot of expectations have been put on our organization to do something, but we have to look at it from what's our long-term goal. We don't want to jeopardize our organization in
Okay, that's fair. I think a lot of new organizations come with needing direction and knowing the how to get there. So yeah, I think it's okay to feel that way. I think I do hope that in itself is actually a good idea if there were kits for organizations to like to kind of give them like, okay, what's next, how to get there, and the resources for you to push that. But hopefully, part of this podcast will also socialize what you do, and hopefully other organizations can also reach out to you on how to share those resources. Sorry, you were about to say something? If you no. Okay, all right. But in a way, other than just that, I mean, you are a non-governmental organization. It's a volunteering thing. You guys are doing this full time, part time, depending on the commitments you have. I mean, that's definitely not easy, especially now that you have expectations on that. Beyond just resources, how are you guys managing your time and the obstacles of that?
I think Surah has been carrying our group recently, so because me and Mizi, we do work part time. Well, I work full time, so yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll be honest. It is a bit tricky juggling all of this. I mean, with the night classes and also with Cope for Hope. But right now it's a school holiday, so I am able to contribute with the organization significantly. But once starting next week, once the school starts, I might have to cut back a little bit. But again, I'm really thankful, grateful for these guys for understanding of my situation, and also very considerate in trying to create the boundaries about work. I mean, that is especially important lah. I mean, some workplaces aren't so considerate, so I'm very lucky to have these people.
I mean, it's not just work now. I mean, it's part of you. It's part of advocacy, and what's for me that I've enjoyed doing this conversation is how much you care on serving that cause, Jua. I mean, we were kind of similar with each other. Even Suara Kitani, we do this on a part-time basis. We do when we can. Our recordings are like once a week, as and when we do it. So I think it's part of an admiration to be able to carry out what you guys do. And I mean, you can never prepare yourself when the next suicide attempt is. So when the next big set of expectations you guys are supposed to do. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that might evolve. You have anything you want to add there?
No, actually, I'm done with my questions. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Actually, you guys have anything you'd like to ask or bring up?
I mean, think they could share a message to the public, maybe, if you want to say something to the public.
So this is for everyone who's approached us to our DMs. We really thank you guys. We see you, and we're working our best to answer each and everyone individually and curating the words that will give you the proper resources. We also really want to thank the public for giving us so much overwhelming support. I think when we had our first meeting, we were so nervous about how to approach this because it's such a sensitive topic, but we're really, really happy that the public is so far supporting our cause and understanding that mental health is a serious health issue in Brunei and needs to be addressed more. And if I would just have one thing to say, we are all here. We've all been through some form of low point in life, and we're more than happy to help. We're definitely more than happy to point out the necessary resources too. So just don't feel free to reach out to us whenever.
Great, thanks, Zura or Mizi. Would you like to have any final few words?
If you are currently struggling with suicidal thoughts or feeling mentally or emotionally overwhelmed, please know that there are services out there that offers therapy or support, either government or private. You can look it up in our Instagram, Cope for Hope. there are a lot of context and details about each agencies.
Cool. Thanks, Mizi.
And just to add to that, if you are feeling sort of like mentally overwhelmed or anything, just know that you're not alone. You matter, your feelings matter, they're completely valid, and just like what Fatih said, it's okay not to be okay, and that's totally fine. Please do reach out for help if you need it.
Thanks, Sarah. I mean, the days and the hours and the years we've grown up, I mean, I'm very thankful that from what used to be mental health is now much more familiar, much more aware, there's more access, and what better way to cope with every day by coping with hope, with Cope for Hope, basically. Emma, you got any last few words before we wrap this up?
You do the outro.
Not just any outro, but just generally, how do you feel with it? Well, how do you guys feel doing a first episode with Suar Kitani?
I mean, I'm generally talkative, so I'm actually pretty like.
This is nothing to me.
It's really fun, and being able to talk about something that sort of, because like mental health, the topics, they're quite sensitive, and not everyone is okay and comfortable with talking about it. So now, like, being able to just openly talk about it and like advocate for it, it's just really exciting. And I can't wait for more opportunities to like talk about it, because mental health is one of the things where you really need to talk about it in order for it to sort of normalize, so
I mean, we were definitely looking forward to see if we can continue any conversations more on mental health. Maybe a topic that's full of stigma. We can give more discussions on that. And then definitely look forward to seeing you talking more, since you have such a love to do that too. And maybe you could do that together with Suara Kitani. Yeah.
Why you're the external director. Yeah, it's really exciting because I've never done this before. This is something. It feels so official with all the microphones and stuff.
Oh no, please don't. I'm still trying to adjust to this because we've just had new equipments as well. I mean, I'd love to have more coffee, but maybe hopefully when we have more funding in our production, welcoming sponsors if you do. But yeah, like it's one way to reach out to Bruneians, right? I mean, we got IG, we got our social media, but what better way to kind of translate that voices and on video, the people behind different initiatives, and one today with Cope for Hope as well. Yeah. Oh, before we do wrap up, let's have your social media handle for everyone to follow.
Cope for Hope Brunei.
That's it. Yeah.
Our Instagram. Yeah. So our Instagram is at Cope for Hope Brunei no, that's our email. Sorry. Our email is copeforhope.bn@gmail. So if you guys want to reach out there too, we also answer. And our Instagram is our Cope for Hope Brunei. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. There's a little bubble. So that's Hazira, Zura, Mizi, and Emma.
Me?
And me. So that's it for Suara Kitani, our episode with Cope for Hope. You just heard her social media handles set for you guys to follow. Maybe
thank you for coming, actually. I really appreciate it.
I just want to say too, thank you for inviting us. This is like our first big public kind of thing.
First of many. So great opportunity for us as well, and the stories all three of you have shared. Until next time, for the next episode of Suara Kitani, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Fadli, Emma, your co-host for this afternoon. Bye.